Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. So this is going to be a different type of video where I'm going to be looking at game design. Um, so before I talk about game design, before I go through all of these statistics and numbers, and we'll look at them together, but before I go into all of that, I just want to give a big shout out to aomstats.io. Gerbot is the one who got me all this data, right? He's the creator of AOM Stats. He has a Discord server as well, so you guys should check him out. And he just has just an amazing website. He's put a lot of time into it, and it looks absolutely great. And we're truly lucky to have someone like this putting all these stats into the game, right? So go and check him out. Buy him a coffee if you so desire. But absolutely amazing work by Gerbot, and thank you very much for getting me this raw data. So what am I going to talk about this video is I'm going to talk a little bit about my opinion in terms of game design, right? And I'm going to give an example. To me, a fun game is a game that, well, let's put it this way. Let's say you're going on a hike. If I'm going on a hike, the fun part about the hike is not seeing the pinnacle, seeing the peak, right? It's fun. You're at the top of the mountain. It's fun. You see an amazing view, right? It's really fun to see, right? If you're at the top of the mountain. But for me, the fun part about a hike and to get to the top is this right here. It's the journey. This is the part that I remember, right? All of this. Getting here is fun too, right? You get to see an amazing view, you get to relax, and it's breathtaking as like a little bit of a reward. You get a hit of dopamine once you get to the top, but truly the most enjoyable part of this trip is this is where all the memories are built. And I kind of take this philosophy and I put it towards game design as well, right? I still remember a time when me, Mista, and a couple friends, we went hiking up Mount Olympus, right? And there was an amazing view that we saw at the very end of this hike. And I don't remember the view. I mean, I kind of remember it, but it's a passing memory to me. The most important part and the most enjoyable part, and sometimes when I look at the videos and look at the pictures, is the path to the top of the mountain. So, what is the top of the mountain in AOM? The top of the mountain, in my opinion, is the Mythic Age, right? The Mythic Age is where you're going to get all of your amazing units, all of the amazing technologies, the god powers, all the Mythic Age units. This is the top of the mountain. This is the part where we're striving to get to. But the other parts of the game are the Heroic Age and also the Classical Age and the Archaic Age, right? So this is the journey to the top of the mountain. These ages right here, right? You guys get the point. I don't need to keep on drawing stuff, but yeah, you get the point. All of this is the journey to the top of the mountain, and this is what makes the game enjoyable and fun, in my opinion. Because let's say that you have a game where the slope is like this and then that, right? So it's basically very little of the heroic age, very little of the classical age. You just jump to the mythic age. Well, then you're not going to really appreciate all of the amazing, cool things that are in the mythic age because you get it every single game, and you don't really have the cheaper units. You don't see the medium cavalry. You don't see the heavy cavalry. You just see the champion units. So how are you gonna enjoy a classical age god power when you get a mythic age god power all the time, right? I think that's kind of bad for the game in general. You don't want people skipping ages. You want people to fight in every age and get to it. So what I think would be better, a bigger slope, right? And then you get to the mythic age. So if you get here and then you get here, this is more fun in my opinion than something like a small slope and then you just like that. Okay, so the slope is something that you can talk about, you can contest. Everyone's going to have a different slope. For me, I think the bulk of the time should be spent in the classical age fighting around the map, right? Then you have another bulk of the bulk which is going to be heroic age, which should be a lot shorter, and then you're going to finally have the mythic age, which you're going to cap off right for the rest of the game. So something like this, a longer classical, a little bit more heroic, and then you get the mythic age. And then I think that's going to be a lot more fun. So now let's look at the data. So what I did was we got a ton of data here. I looked at, instead of looking at all of these, I was looking at the average time somebody spends in an age, right? So the average time somebody spends in the archaic age, the classical age, the heroic age, and so on and so forth, right? Now, I did remove a couple patches because the sample size was very low. For example, this one right here, it was destroyed or deleted rather. And I think 18, this is an older patch, so I removed this as well. And I talked to Gerbot before he did it and he agreed. So I removed all of the stuff that I don't think is necessary, and I put an analysis category here. So this is the summarized data of that chart that you guys saw right there, okay? So what can we see here? We can see that the archaic age has remained kind of flat. There's no change, right? It was 219 second ages ago and it's 218 seconds now. Is there much of a change? No, not really. I think that's pretty much a flat curve, right? Whereas the classical age has gone up. You can see that it was 629 seconds somebody spends, and it progressively got in longer and longer, right? So this is a very, very good statistic in my opinion. This is what is a fun game, right? So this went up. Heroic age, same thing. It went up in terms of how much time you spend. So once again, it's a good metric in my opinion, right? Why can't I get that arrow? It is what it is, right? It's, in my opinion, it's fun. Now the mythic age, the time that somebody spends in the mythic age has gone down. Now, is this really that important, how much time you spend there? I don't think so. I think this just means that maybe games are not as long. But you can see that the two most important metrics, the classical age time and the heroic age time, has gone up. This, in my opinion, contributes to a more enjoyable game, because what people were doing back in the day was they were going from age to age to age, and they were just trying to jump to mythic as fast as possible. Nobody spent time in classical, nobody spent time in heroic. Everyone just jumped straight to the mythic age. And there was a contingent of players, there was a faction of players that was saying everything was fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with jumping ages. I disagreed. I think this is way more enjoyable than just jumping ages, right? The strategy back then was, you know, you can play Egyptian, go straight to Thoth, Meteorite if your opponent is trying to attack you, so you'll kill his entire army. If he doesn't try to attack you, Meteor his TC or his base, and then you get Valley of the Kings, and you finish him off. That was essentially the game for the first like 3 months, right? This is also a problem because this made Egyptians look a lot stronger than they were, but they weren't that strong. They were just strong because people were abusing this tactic, right? This is a tactic. This is not, in my opinion, it's not real strategy, right? There's also other things like this, but essentially it was all age jumping, all just getting to your power spike. There was not much thinking on the spot, thinking on the fly, and that, in my opinion, contributed to an inferior game, right? It's a game of tactics rather than strategy, like I've said a million times, right? Now, just for some ease, like if people want to kind of get a little bit of a heat map, you can see that it's getting darker as you get to the classical age in the most recent patch. It's getting slightly darker in the heroic age as well. And the mythic age, to be honest, has kind of stayed roughly the same. It is getting a little bit lighter, but it's not really changed that much. It's well, you can say it has, but percentage wise, I don't think it's changed that much. So this is a good statistic. Like you can look at the bar charts as well, right? You can see that the classical age, which is this orange one, went down slightly, and now it's on its way up. It's on its way up a lot, right? It went down. You can kind of see from here. It went down from here, and now it's up like that, right? And the same thing with the heroic age. The heroic age was really bad, right? It was all the way down here. It was still bad, and now it's slightly picking up. And the mythic age is kind of just in a little in its own zone. So the biggest takeaway I think from here is that the classical age has been a little bit more. People have been staying a lot more time in the classical age as opposed to like the mythic age, and then the heroic age got a pump too. So if you look at the archaic age at the bottom, nothing has changed. It's the same as it was for all these patches, right? Now, if you look at the classical age, this is huge, right? You see this little spike of time. This is massive. Heroic age is also got a little bit of a spike. You see here, big spike right here. So this is helping as well. Both of these are good indicators. And then you have mythic age that went down a tad bit, but this is not that important overall because I think this is just how fast the games are ending. And I think game time has been decreasing if I recall correctly. So what is contributing to this? Why is this happening? In my opinion, it's happening, well, for the heroic age, it's because fortifications are a lot stronger. That's the first thing. Second thing is god powers got nerfed. Mythic age units and mythic age power spikes have gotten nerfed. Power spikes across the game have been nerfed from the beginning, right? Which a lot, in my opinion, it's more beneficial to on the fly decision making strategy, whereas if you're playing with a tactical based game, then you want those power spikes. You want to hit them. You want to find the fastest way to hit the power spikes, and you want to kill your opponent. So the meta right now, or the game state, is favoring people who are actually more strategical than tactical, right? Whereas the meta back in the day was emphasizing tactical over strategical, right? And I think that's the way to go forward. I think the more strategy oriented the game is, it is an RTS game, right? The more strategy oriented the game becomes, the more people will enjoy it. People like to actually make their decisions on the fly. They don't want, they do like people. I think a lot of you guys like to have like, okay, I'm going to go for this and this and this and this, right? But you also want to be like, okay, I'm going to go for this and this, and I have to react to what my opponent does. So there's more reactionary strategy now, whereas in the past there wasn't. Now I'm a little bit curious why the archaic age got such a, sorry, the classical age got such a big buff going forward like this, right? Even though towers got buffed, um, and you know, most, a lot of things got buffed. Like a lot of people are doing 2 town center plays, and I'm not too sure why this has happened, whereas people are staying in the classical age as well. Actually, it just dawned on me. I think there was a change in one of the patches where hunt became more valuable, right? Whereas there was less food in your base and you would have to leave your base to get food. So that was a big change, I think, and that you can kind of see it's probably the bulk of this right here is because of that. I've noticed it myself that I've had to go out on the map a lot more to hunt. So that can definitely be some of the reasons for this. And now that the TC's, the range, the total range is getting nerfed based on the pup. So it's going to go from 20 range to 18 range. This is going to spike even more, right? Heroic age, the DPS on fortresses and whatnot is going down. So I'm not sure what's going to really happen here. It might allow for more aggression than there is now. So that's going to maybe keep somebody in the heroic age longer. So I think both of these things are going to help the classical age and the heroic age. And when you really have to play these ages, I'm telling you, the game we're going to have is a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, that's kind of, I just wanted to show you guys. I think this was a very, very interesting little statistic. If you guys have any, anything you want to see, any type of stats you want to see, whatever gets the most amount of likes, maybe I can ask Gerbot to get me some more raw data. We can go through it together. Um, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Maybe I can do something like win rates over time, right? We can look at all the different win rates over time, and that could be a very interesting thing to talk about as well. But yeah, thank you very much, you guys, for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. And make sure you guys check out Gerbot and aomstats.io and give him your full support. All right, guys, take care. Bye.